What's up everybody and welcome to the Doombased Weapons Merge. So basically what this is all of Doom's weapons. I've covered a lot of them on this channel. A lot of them are my favorite. Obviously that's what's in the background right now, but it is merging all of those into one basically weapon pack. So you have these all combined. It's on consoles as well, which is where I feel like it's really going to be huge because handling mods on consoles is not nearly as easy, but it adds in basically the 10 mods that Doom has ported over along with MyBatsu. He made the weapon pack, but MyBatsu made a lot of these and modeled them into the sounds and everything. And then now it is available in one clean, concise pack. I think this is an awesome addition. I think weapon packs like this are going to really rise to the top really quickly. His weapons are balanced, they sound nice, they look really nice, and all around it is just a damn good weapon pack to have. I would definitely recommend it to anyone in the market for one right now, which I happen to be because I'm going to be starting my Let's Play soon. So there's one more gun I didn't show yet, so let's get to that really quick. But yeah, just wanted to give you a good overview of them all. We're going to be going on each weapon one at a time, and I'm going to basically divide this video into categories. So first the pistols, and then the assault rifles, and then the heavier guns, etc, etc. So that's that. Let's get on to the pistols. So there are 4 pistols in the Doom weapons mods. I'm not considering the M1911 a pistol, even though it has it in the title. But first and foremost, we do have the M1911 PKD Detective Special Pistol. So this one is obviously very unique. There's not too much going on in the actual crafting of this. Basically what you're going to do is you could get a double set trigger, which is a little bit unique to the weapon, but otherwise everything else, you have all the different conversion mods. But as you'll see, almost all of these weapons have that addition. And then we do have some basic sights, but again, this is definitely lacking a little bit in the feature side of things. Then we do have the Desert Eagle pistol. So this one obviously being the famed and kind of really well known in modern pop culture, especially after Call of Duty 4. So what do we have here? We do have some different barrels, like some standard barrels, and again, I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty simply because there's so many weapons here. I'm going to kind of cut to the chase and show you what's kind of cool about a lot of them. But first and foremost, what you're going to see, another common thing, well, I actually think 3 weapons have this, is the Desert Eagle has a flashlight, so you can toggle this on or off. But as you can see, off by default, craft the flashlight toggle item at the chem station to switch between light sources. So how does that work? Well, if we actually get out of here and equipped this, so as you can see at the chem station, we can craft the flashlight toggle. So right now when I hit tab, it's going to go to the flashlight on the gun. Whoops. And then as I turn that off, if I hit 0 now, which is where I had the light source thing toggle or bound to, it'll go to my Pip-Boy. So basically what you could do is at the chem station, you could craft these Desert Eagle flashlight toggle. There's also one for a MAC-11 and another gun, which will show you some of the stuff at the chem station you could do later on. But otherwise, what can you actually modify about the Desert Eagle? Well, there is also this cool engraving system, so you could make the gun silver or gold, but then you also have these crazy cool gold and silver engravings, and these things look really freaking nice, I think, especially for the Desert Eagle, which is kind of like a flashier gun and all that. We also do have the Lucky Grip, which is really cool. You basically have a card in the grip, and I just think that looks really nice. It's a really nice addition. Otherwise, everything else is more or less the same. As you saw, we only have 2 barrels, but then we do have the conversion. So no conversion is going to be a 44 or .44, and then we have a 38 and a 50 caliber conversion. I like having it on the 50 caliber conversion because that damage though. But even just taking note how much damage some of these weapons do, they are balanced. Like there was definitely balancing in mind when these were being made for Fallout 4, which is why I really like these weapons. So on to the next, we do have the Rhino Pistol, which is another beefy and unique pistol, almost akin to the Desert Eagle. So the Rhino Pistol does have some crazy stuff going on with it. I made a video on this. I made a video on a lot of these weapons, but basically we do have all the different receivers. As you can see, you can get to some crazy amount of damage with this receiver, although the fire rate does balance it out a little bit. And then we also do have the barrel. So we have the standard barrel or the Rhino barrel. It only like adjusts the gun. Nothing's actually being changed. You're just in the picture. It gets shifted up, but it does do a little bit more damage with the Rhino barrel. We do have a lightweight grip, which again is kind of the same thing. What the really cool part though is that scope. So there is a custom scope for the Rhino gun. You have some other like reflex sights and all that, but the Rhino scope looks really freaking good. And then finally, we do have different colors you can make it. So you can make it pink, green, black, or orange. I personally like orange. And as you can see, it goes to the scope and it goes to the gun itself, and they all just look really freaking nice, especially close up. They are just really like nice looking neon bright colors and very loud, so they stand out even on the darker gun that is kind of beat up when using it. So Now the final pistol in this category is the suppressed, or just the M1911 pistol, and I really like this one. So many M1911 mods out there become way too overpowered or way too broken, but this is definitely my favorite one because it's so well balanced, even with the advanced receiver, which obviously requiring gun nut rank 3, and then all these materials, it's not cheap. It's definitely pretty late game. You're not going to be able to get this right off the bat, so it does balance itself quite nicely. Doing 100 damage is nothing super ridiculous. When you get the gun earlier on, it's only going to do 56 damage, and you're not going to be one-shotting raiders like with some other weapon mods out there, which is why I really like it. Other than that, we don't have too much going on except these cool little attachment systems, which you'll see with some of the other guns on here. Basically, so right now this gun has a silencer on it. Well, if I put on the standard barrel, suddenly the silencer is gone and I lose that option altogether. If I put back on the threaded barrel, I will get it back, as you can see, the muzzle option. So this is a way this is going to work. You'll see this later on with some rail systems and some of the different sights. So I do like that. I think it's a really nice touch to have, although it's not super like practical. It's nice to have it, but I don't know. It would be nice to be able to take off the silencer as well. But it's just kind of like the threaded barrel doesn't really change anything. It's just one barrel option. I'd love to see more options here, and I feel like that would flesh out the addition a lot more and just make it a lot nicer to have. Otherwise, right now it's just one extra step, and I would like to have a few other muzzles, and I think that would really make it more ideal. Then you also do have the different grips, and it's better because it's black, better recoil and hip fire accuracy. I was going to say, nothing has really changed here, so the standard grip, again, looks almost exactly the same. The black grip just being, I think it's slightly darker. No, I think it's actually exactly the same. That's just the lighting in the ambience. And then we do have the large magazine and all that. We have some sights. Again, nothing too crazy. No sights on this one, just the normal iron sights, which I kind of like because there's no rail system or anything going on. And then we do have an amount. So as you can see, as you put the rail system on, as I was talking about earlier, suddenly you could get a laser attachment and you could get a reflex sight. So as I was saying before, I do really like those features. I think that is a really nice thing for the game to have, and I don't know, I like it. I just think it works well. So those are those 4 weapons, so let's actually check them out in action. So I did place down a bunch of raiders. Let's turn them on right now. I do have my Desert Eagle in hand. We're going to try and shoot some of these dudes and see what kind of damage we can do to them. So as you can see, the Desert Eagle not blowing away. Again, these are legendary raiders, so not normal raiders. But it doesn't blow them away or one-shot them with their head off, which I really like. The balancing on this mod, I think it works nicely and when you're actually using it. So as you can see now, oh, we just blew his gun out of his hand. So that was pretty good. And then we could take a few shots at him. As you could say, as you can see, even with something like the Desert Eagle, it still does take quite a few shots. So let's switch on to the next. Now we have the Rhino, and oh crap, I have my HUD turned off, so we can't use the scope. But let's actually turn the Rhino back on. And again, this thing does a lot more damage than any of the other ones, but as you can see, it only has 3 shots. And if I actually try and just fire it, I'm clicking as fast as I can, so you can see the fire rate isn't super high. And again, that whole 3-shot thing, and there's no way to change that, so you're stuck with the 3-shot. What am I getting shot with? Oh, that's a weapon from this mod, isn't it? Yeah. So someone took the gun I had right there off of the thing and is shooting me with it. So we're gonna shoot a few more of these guys. They got into the settlement. They are stealing our guns. And yeah, so let's switch on to the M1911 here, and let's actually start trying to blast away guys with that. And as you can see, again, the M1911 being very, very balanced, definitely like a good sidearm to have. And we knocked his gun away too. That was pretty good. And definitely not going to be like super broken, because a lot of other mods out there, even some of these standalone M1911 mods, I find they're way too high of damage. So let's get onto the detective pistol and try and get some cool shots with it. This girl is just running from me. So this thing does a lot of damage. This thing is definitely packs a powerful punch, although the ammo types on this one are a little bit more limited than some of the other ones. So that is a good reason for that to like kind of happen. So we'll shoot her in the face a few times and try and blow them all away. But that's pretty much the 4 mods. I just wanted to give you a quick overview. I don't want to make this video too long. So now we'll move on to some of the other ones we have. So moving on from that, we're actually going to now just check out the 2 guns that didn't really have a better category, the Mac 11 and the Catalyst AAS shotgun. I actually just made a video on the Catalyst a few days ago, as that is another really cool one. So the Mac 11 is going to have your standard kind of Mac 11 receivers, semi-automatic, automatic. I do really like that the automatic isn't more powerful than the advanced receiver, which is obviously this is semi-automatic, this is fully automatic, and I do like that. It does come default or kind of with the light frame. The standard receiver is semi-automatic, so obviously you have to have a Mac 11 that's automatic. I feel like that's just the way the world works. We do have the stock. You can extend it like so. This would be something I'd love to see with one of those toggleable switches, but unfortunately not quite yet. You do have that crazy long magazine, so as you can see, that thing is freaking long compared to the standard magazine, which already sticks out. The large magazine is so long, which does look really cool if you ask me, but not even cool. It looks comical, which is what I think they were going for. Then you do have some glow sights like so. We do have a few different muzzle attachments, so as you can see, you could get a scoped suppressor for this thing, which absolutely is crazy. Obviously intentionally just kind of comical and funny. I'm not going to use that because I don't know, I don't think we need that in our life. You could check that out on your own if you want. So as you can see, we do have a separate attachment slot. You can put on a reflex sight if you'd like. Personally, I think that takes a little bit away from the Mac 11 feel. Then you do have a few of the different conversions with or as you did with some of the other ones. By default it does use 10mm, but you can go to 38 or even 45, which I'm actually going to go to 45 because that's going to be quite a bit of fun. Then you do have a ton of really cool paint jobs. As you can see, this is the one that we did have before. Right now I'm technically using the tribal. This is probably the hardest to recognize, but you also do have street, which is probably my favorite. We have some flames right there, which are kind of subtle, some dreams, which again kind of subtle. This one, the bones, I really like. I like how they also go on the magazine, as you can see down here. Kind of hard to tell because it is hidden behind it, but that does look really good. You have bomb, which is like the airplane thing. The bangle, which I actually really like this one as well. I think that one just looks really slick and nice, although I'd love to see that one on the magazine. And then of course the standard. So then you do finally have the attachment. So you have the flashlight and laser attachment. This also has that same thing where you can change the flashlight attachments as with the other one. So now the catalyst, we do have the automatic receiver, and then you could make this semi-automatic, or fully automatic as before. But this is the only thing I didn't like, and that was what I was kind of commenting on before. The automatic receiver does more damage here for I don't know why, frankly, but so as you can see, the automatic receiver does a lot more damage than the advanced receiver per shot. So I don't understand why that would be a thing. This is something I'd really just like to see is changed. So we could go to the powerful automatic receiver. Obviously I could just single shot it if, you know, there's no downside to that, which I don't really like. I wish they did the same damage or have the one do slightly more. Obviously we do have the hardened barrel, the full stock. Again, nothing too crazy. Where this gun is really cool is with this. So you have four different like things you could fire, different projectile types. You have a shell, which is your typical shotgun shell. It's just going to be like a buckshot going into multiple projectiles. A slug, which is going to be one single solid projectile like a bullet that many other guns fire. Then we have the incendiary rounds, which are little rounds that kind of set enemies on fire. I really like this one. This is my favorite without a doubt. And then explosive rounds just explode on impact. Kind of standard there. Nothing too crazy. We have a few attachments. A shell holder, which will actually pop up on the side of the gun. You can't see it right now. It's on the other side, but that'll just increase your reload speed. And then a laser attachment like so. So now let's actually check these two out in combat. So now I did place down some more legendary raiders because, you know, you want to keep that consistency going, but let's just check out the Mac 11. Look how fast it has a 64 round mag. Look how fast it shoots. So as you can see, a ton of fun. Somebody is shooting me, but I did run out of bullets right there. But you go through ammo so fast with this thing, but the DPS on it is ridiculous. As you can see, I just blew that guy away super fast, but you're just going to burn through ammo if you fire like that all the time very quickly, unless you have it. Obviously, I'm using 45 caliber rounds, but yeah, it's gonna go through some bullets pretty quick. So now we have the shotgun. As you can see, that's the shell holder right there, and look at that effect you do get from the we use the incendiary rounds. So as you can see, doing some work right there. Let's go run back over this way though and try and take out these enemies. That guy does actually, is that a Gauss rifle? Oh my god. Okay, so we're gonna try and shoot her a few times. As you can see in the head, getting some good headshots there. But as fun as the shotgun is, I do really prefer the Mac 11. I just think that thing is super hilarious to just blind fire even and just run up to enemies, shoot them down really quickly. Obviously it does do such crazy damage. so we can just blow him down or mow him down like so, and it's just so satisfying, that super high DPS. So it looks like there's a few enemies left. I'm gonna go jump or switch over to the shotgun again because I do want it to feel some love. It actually does have a really high damage per shot, but that is those two weapons. Again, relatively simple, nothing too crazy with either of those. So let's go find the last few and we'll check those out. So next up, we are moving on to the assault rifles. So we do have the Kalash, which is basically an AK-47 or AK style rifle. We have a Scar LK and the LK-05. So the Kalash, first and foremost, everything's relatively standard. You have a lot of different barrel options. This is definitely embracing the AK system because you could really make this gun your own. There's a lot of different ways to change it around, a lot of different options. You have drum magazines, you have all kinds of different scopes. You can make it super long range, you could make it short range, and I do really like these scopes are like very AK-47-esque or AK style thing, like that almost looks like a Dragunov scope, which I do quite like a lot, although I don't actually want to use that scope. If we could go back to it, let's put on the 3x scope, and these are using the see-through sight system, so as you can see, I actually like the combat scope a little bit more. And then we also do have a few other things down here. We do have a muzzle brake, as you can see. We have all these different things. I do like the bayonet on this one. I think the bayonet just looks so good, and I do like how it is that little brown wood thing, but it does look like a Russian style bayonet almost. And then finally we have probably the coolest part about this particular assault rifle. You have a ton of different ammo types you could choose from. So as you can see, that yeah, that's a lot. So we have 3 different conversions. You have 5.56, 308, 50 caliber rounds, and well, those are the 3. And then as you can see, you have all kinds of different things for those. So you have plasma infused rounds, incendiary rounds, explosive rounds. But take a look at the damage that these things do. It is not insanely high. It's not like we're getting into the hundreds on any of these, which is absolutely awesome. This is like a grounded, realistic, maybe not realistic because if you have plasma infused rounds, you probably one-shot anybody in real life, but still, these are more realistic and more balanced than some of the other weapon mods out there, which is why I really like it. Like, you could use plasma infused rounds, do a lot of damage, but not a ridiculous amount of damage. You should really think about, like, okay, plasma infused rounds, what kind of enemies would these work best against? Not just, you know, mow down everything within 3 shots, as well as it does require gun nut 4, which is quite nice. So I'm going to use some, I guess we'll go with 308 rounds. Let's do 308 armor piercing rounds, which again, 56 damage is nothing insane. So we're going to go on to, let's do the Scar LK last. We'll do the LK-05. This is probably my least favorite weapon in this entire pack. There's just nothing too crazy going on here. It's kind of like your typical weapon, nothing crazy again. It's a cool gun, but there's nothing super unique. As you can see, we have all the different flashlight and laser attachment. Well, that's not the laser, but the laser attachments like that. You do have different conversions for 38, 45, 308, 50 cal. But I don't really like this one so much. I just feel like it's a little bit boring compared to some of the others, which is okay because it's nice to have that in the weapon pack because it does diversify. Not everything has to be super cool. On the flip side, the Scar LK is probably my favorite weapon in this entire mod because I just think it looks so freaking good. Like, look at that thing. Does that not look beautiful? So we do have all the different receiver types, and this thing can pack a seriously powerful punch with some 50 caliber rounds. We do have the 3 different barrel types. You can go medium, long barrel, or short barrel. I personally really like the medium barrel. We also do have some different stocks, which is basically just going to extend the stock a little bit. Nothing super crazy going on there. We have a few different magazines. So you have the large quick eject magazines, and this is a small thing, but I really like how they look different. I like how the standard magazine isn't just a stretched out, or the large magazine isn't just a stretched out standard magazine. It actually looks kind of different. We have all of these different kinds of scopes, but we also do have the recon scope. So basically, when you put on the recon scope, you'll get this option called zoom. So now you can zoom in on the recon scope, and I've showed this in so many videos before. A lot of the guns in this mod have that, but basically, if I actually find the gun, as you can see, as I do that, it's actually just zooming in your screen more. So the entire screen will zoom in a bit more when you have that installed, and I just think it works really well. Also, we do have all of these different camos here, which I think look really good. We do have the green and blue, and you can't really tell, but they are slightly different. It's a lot easier to tell in the wild or outside. But the hexes, I think, just look so freaking good. Like, I don't know. I really like this weapon. Well, those are those 3, so let's check them out in action. And, yeah, let's go do some work with them. So do you guys think you could guess what kind of enemies I placed down? Just out of curiosity, do you think you might know by any slight chance? So yes, we did place down some more legendary raiders. Let's start off with the Scar LK, as I'm using right now. This is my favorite. As I was saying before, I really like this weapon. It's a little hard to tell right now because it's a little bit dark out, but oh, there's a perfect shot of it, and as you can see, it looks really nice. It does pack a pretty powerful punch with the current config, but I'm using 50 caliber rounds, so if you have 50 caliber rounds in this amount of abundance, that looks so cool. One of the NPCs, or my settlers, picked up the fiery rifle thing, but that is so cool, the Jaguar. But yeah, so now let's switch over to the Kalash, and we'll actually use the scope. I think the scope on this one by far is my favorite out of all the scopes in the mod. I just think it looks so freaking nice, especially with that, like, it has that red tint going on, which I don't know, I just think that looks absolutely amazing. So let's actually get some VATS action going on. He has like a laser rifle or something, but yeah, and I want to try out the bayonet on this one, but just the way the scope looks and the way it looks when you actually aim down the scope, I really like that one in particular. So as you can see, we can get some bayonet action, and then finally the last mod, the LK05. Oh, I blew up, and I think I just crashed. So yes, with one weapon left, the game did crash, but I also do want to show you something real quick. So at the chemistry station, you do get a lot of the different things you could craft for this mod. So as you can see, you have apparel, and then you have all of the guns, and then these are where you craft the flashlight toggles. But what does that do? Oh, you just saw it. But as you can see, I've had this on the whole time, but yeah, you could actually add the weapons to your back. And there's another really cool thing about this. So a lot of mods you could add weapons to your back, well, not a lot, but they're out there. What this does though, which is nice, is it actually has a close version and a far version. So obviously the close version for no, which one is my chest piece? There you go. If I had no chest piece on, it would look, you know, natural. It's nice and snug on my back. But as soon as I put any kind of armor on, suddenly it looks all kind of weird and it clips with the armor. Well, then you use the far version, which then goes over the armor quite nicely, and you would never know. It also has like a nice little sway thing, which is, I don't know, it just looks really nice. But all around, I'm going to carry my Scar LK around with me at all times. Visually seeing it, I think it looks really cool and really nice. So now let's get on to the last weapon. So last but not least, we do have the Jaguar MSX200. This has been like one of the top mods on consoles for a long time, and I think rightfully so. So nothing too crazy going on here. We have all the different receivers. You have some rapid receivers, which are going to seriously pump up your fire rate, and then the powerful receiver, which obviously does more damage at a lower fire rate. 2 stocks, a few different of the magazines, same stuff. Combat scope using the see-through sights framework, and muzzle. We have a muzzle brake and a suppressor. Again, all that's kind of standard. Then we do have some cool different paint jobs though, which I do really like. So you have the bomb one, another one of the street ones, and then the United States Air Force one, which I do like a lot. But the street one, again, I don't know, just the street ones are inspiring. It makes you want to go crazy with this gun for whatever reason, at least in my eyes. So now we do have all the different ammo types. As you can see, like any good LMG, we have a wide plethora of options, and you have 5mm, 38, and finally 5.56, which is what it comes with naturally. So the 5mm are going to do the most damage here, only slightly though. You have explosive rounds, incendiary rounds, hollow point rounds, all kinds of cool stuff. So now let's go take on some foes with this. If you could guess what kind of enemy we're going to take on, post in the comments down below, and let's do it. So of course we're going to be taking on some super mutants now, because that was obvious. We're going to turn them on and check out. I gave them all LMG. Oh wow. Wow, okay, we did a lot. I didn't think we were going to do nearly that much damage. So yeah, as you can see, this thing packs a serious punch. Let's just turn on my settlers then, because why not? So as you can see, is it one-shotting them? Wait. I can't really single fire it, but I believe so. So we can just start mowing down everyone in my settlement, and there is no escape for any of these guys. But yes, using the street camo to its success, just blind fire at everything. And as you can see, this is like one of those guns that you would see in the side of like a ship, like a plane or a helicopter, and just mow down and lay down hell. Look how cool that looks. This is the gun, of course, that one of my sellers picked up before when shooting people. But that is it, guys. That is Doombased Weapons Merged. It is going to be a long video, so hopefully for those of you who watched the whole thing did enjoy it. Hopefully for those of you who didn't, well, you're not hearing me right now, so screw you. But otherwise, if you watch the whole thing, can we get a, just write pineapple in the comments if you made it to this point in the video. And yeah, so as always, I thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.